Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chobo Team League. I am Cornmuscles, going to be casting for you this evening with my good friend and partner in crime this evening. It is Spiderhawk. Say hello, Spiderhawk. That's... So tonight, Season 6 of the Chobo Team League, week number 3, we have Team Unrivaled versus Alloy Esports. Two teams that are struggling a little bit right now in the league. I believe at the time both of these teams were looking for their first win, or at least Unrivaled was. I could be wrong there. I'd have to check the website. But we should have some great games nonetheless. For those of you that don't know, the Chobo Team League, also known as the CTL, Amateur Esport League in StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, which is for Diamond and below players. You play in a pro league style where like leagues play against similar leagues, so your silvers play silvers, golds play gold, so on and so forth. And it's a best of 9, with the second diamond match being an ace match best of 3. All matches are played regardless, simply because map scores come into account for playoffs, and then playoffs happen and we crown a winner. It's all for bragging rights, all for fun, and all to get better at the game. You can't hear me. You can't hear Spider. They're saying they can't hear you, Spider. Here's Spider. I think I know what the issue is. It's my new computer. I haven't changed one of my audio settings. All right, how about now? Can we hear?
Can you hear me, everyone?
Can we hear Spider now?
Test 2.
Well, they're on like a 20-second delay, so.
All right.
No.
It's unfortunate. Up there.
Oh, now they're saying, yeah, you lying sacks of donkey butter.
Apparently, they were not patient enough.
All right, you know what we're gonna do?
What are we going to do?
We're gonna go back to the countdown screen. We're gonna do a 10-second countdown.
Okay.
And then we're gonna start over. This is awesome.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like a tool doing this again. Fuck it. I'm Cornmuscles. We're casting Spiderhawks with me. Say hi.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Yay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard all my spiel earlier than that. Spiderhawk's going to be casting. Before we get into the game, which we have loaded up, ready to go already, let's take a quick look at the matchup screen so we can see what we're going to look at today. And look at that, a nifty, different-looking lineup screen. I don't know if you guys like it or not. It's kind of crude. I noticed some of the things aren't even, but tough. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not even a good caster, so
Well, we still love you.
thank you. We have a lot of Zergs today, so that should be helpful. So as I know, Spiderhawk is a good Zerg player.
I'm trying
So
to
let's go
betray
through
my race. I'm a Terran.
Let's go through these matchups. For Team Unrivaled, we have UR.MiSsViTaL going up against Heimdallr. For Alloy Esports, Deacon goes up against Tsunami. JJ Walker over Apophis. Vital, captain of Team Unrivaled, going against Endersword. Katana versus Dingus. Apira versus Rhino. Chaos Master X versus Fan of Stuff, who is in the running for best name in CTL. Sanghoon,
Stuff.
Fan of Stuff. Sang-hoon versus Maui Spartan. And in our Diamond Ace matchup, we have Fox going up against Gaga. But we know what you guys want. You guys actually want to see some StarCraft, so we're going to get right into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the game. We are in it. It is live. Well, it's not from a replay. But close enough. These games were all played last week. Spawning in the southeast position on Frost. From Alloy Esports, it is Heimdallr.
And spawning up in the northwest position from Team Unrivaled will be UR.MiSsViTaL.
I wonder if UR.MiSsViTaL is related in some way, shape, or form to Vital.
She might be.
It's not Mrs. Vital, though, so I don't want to say like spouse. Maybe it's just like a fangirl. Vital has a fangirl. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Vital
Fangirl
has
Vital.
a fangirl. Congratulations,
Clearly,
Vital.
Clearly, UR.MiSsViTaL should have been Fangirl Vital. We'll see. But we have a PVZ.
And we do have an early scout coming, a little early of a scout coming from our Protoss player, 12 scout, coming out before the gateway. I like scouting on the gateway more than the pylon, but it's not too early. It's not a cheese timing, so...
Well,
we do actually have a
larger map.
That is true, and we do have a drone going out scouting around as well. So
that is what I say is an early drone scout.
So we have a 15 pool. We have a 15 pool going down for our Zerg player Heimdallr. And can somebody in the chat let me know if game sounds are coming through for you guys, because they're very quiet on my end.
Well, a 15 pool, that signifies... Going pool before hatch signifies that Zerg here wants to put early pressure down or wants to make sure they can't be cannon rushed. Both are...
A little bit interesting, too, especially on a map this big. You'd expect almost to see a hatch first. And we're actually getting gas before the hatchery goes down, so you might see some aggression, maybe some speeding play a little bit early on in this matchup. But yeah,
it's almost undoubtedly going to be some early aggression as the drone takes down the scout probe.
And we do see a zealot being chronoed out of this gateway when the cybercore is coming down. So UR.MiSsViTaL definitely wants to finish off her wall. I'm going to call her her, and I'm being told I don't hear in-game sound, so I'm just going to turn those up in the middle of the game. I apologize.
In other news,
let us know if it's still too quiet. We do have the hatchery going down as well as the cybercore, and a forge as well.
Well, the hatchery is interesting because it's not in the natural position.
That is very interesting. Why would you? I wonder what Heimdallr was thinking of taking it in the third, what's typically taken as the third base location.
Well, it's something if you were worried about, say, a drone coming around to put some cannons behind your mineral line, you put it in a spot they usually don't check, but that's an equally terrible spot for being cannon rushed, just because they can put it right on the cannons on the high ground, and there's nothing you can do about it.
An additional 2 gateways coming down, along with a second gas out of our blue Protoss player. Also throwing down a cannon, so it looks like our Protoss player wants to be just a little bit safer from any kind of early pressure. 1 base, 3 gate with a cannon. So, and it is a full wall off. I assume this Zealot's on hold position so that nothing can kind of squeak through and won't. And people are saying they still don't hear game sounds.
Also might be settings. So, because he had to change the settings to get my Skype sound in there.
Oh, I changed Skype settings for your Skype sound. So Cybercore, we're working on Warp Gate. Mothership Core about to come out. We'll probably see some probe production continue after that. We do have quite the number of drones right now. 29 drones already for our Zerg player. So Zerg player doing pretty good. A little oversaturated. Well, I'd say oversaturated on his main, but he hasn't taken his second gas yet, so he can afford to have a couple extra drones there. And a very early layer. We haven't seen really any army to speak of from either of these players. Just the 2 queens from Heimdallr, and I believe just the Zealot Sentry and the Mothership Core from our Protoss player. So a very passive game to start here in the Bronze-Silver match.
Well, I have to point out for the Zerg, though, it's early layer, but on 1 gas. And you want to know what you can do with an early layer in 1 gas? Almost nothing.
Make Zerglings?
It's like Heimdallr very quickly got Burrow, but you don't need layer to get Burrow anymore.
So we're going to see some burrowed Ling play. Now, did he get speed? I think he did get speed. Yes, he got speed. So we're going to have some burrowed speedling action against a Robotics Bay, and we do actually have the expansion down in the Natural for our Protoss player.
The Protoss player really needs to turn those gates into warp gates so she can get some units out there.
That would be helpful, but a little bit focused on the robotics facility possibly right now. We do have the 1 gas Spire coming out from our Zerg player. Is now taking his 2nd and 3rd gases at the the 3rd. So a little bit interesting play from our Zerg player, but we do have a pretty big run by here. The Zerglings looking to take out the Natural of our Protoss player, and no, now they're just going to go after the pylon instead of the Nexus. Want to take out that supply, hopefully maybe supply block. No reaction just yet out of our Protoss.
You should go there and photon overcharge. Turn that into...
Yeah, photon overcharge would be a great play on the Nexus right now. It looks like the Nexus is probably going to fall. An observer being sent out across the map, and Zerglings just admire their work as that Nexus falls, and it looks like they're just heading on home. Oh, and the burrow comes into play.
If you can burrow your Zerglings, and you can, if you get the entire burrowing to block the expansions. Ooh.
It's a good place to burrow. We do see that our Protoss player is supply blocked right now. Losing that pylon and the Nexus did supply block. So we do have an observer out on the field. It is on the other side of the map, though, so the Nexus is safe for now. We do, though, have a robotics bay coming out, so we're apparently going to see some Colossi action on 1 base.
There's one thing, Colossus can just melt entire armies if they happen to be only ground armies.
We are still on 3 gases for our Zerg player, who is researching flyer attacks level 1, so definitely going to be thinking about a Muta-switch at some point. I would like to see that 4th gas be taken if for looking for a Muta-switch.
It's being taken, so...
Our Protoss player was floating about 1,000 minerals, must have noticed, and is just throwing down 3 gateways and a couple pylons. Either that or thinking, maybe I'm a little bit behind, let's try doing a little bit more of a defensive, like some kind of aggression. Is still trying to get that Natural down, but hasn't figured out that there's a burrowed Ling there yet, unfortunately. Now, I do want to remind folks that we are watching the Bronze-Silver match, so if you're wondering, this doesn't seem like very high level play. It's okay. Chobo Team League, we're trying to make folks better players, so this is what it's about. We all started somewhere. There's nothing wrong with how these 2 people are playing right now. This is a really good game right now. Yeah.
Both are, well, the Protoss player is doing good at spending their money. The Zerg player could afford to make another 20 overlords and throw down more bases and still have some minerals to spare. I'd like to also see the Zerg player get a queen over to his 3rd. He made the extra queen in the Natural, but has yet to make the pilgrimage.
All the queens now making the pilgrimage, and we do have a collection of observers at the Natural base, so that Natural is definitely scouted. And we do have the Zerglings still just kind of hanging out, trying to take map control. Supplies are relatively even right now, 66 to 78. And the Protoss has a much stronger army with those Colossus. So if the Protoss decided to push out right now, they'd win. You know, there's really not much that this Zerg army could do. There is now 9 Mutalisk on the way, and that is going to be very scary for this ground attack based army of the Protoss player. Need some more stalkers in this composition.
Yeah. If
So those
if Smith Vital just warps in nothing but stalkers for. Yep, there's some stalkers.
Hopefully those observers saw that the Mutalisks were coming out, and we'll see, and another 4 stalkers just warped in and are going to join. So now this is actually a little bit interesting. We have about 7 stalkers going up against what will be 9 current Mutalisks and another 6 on the way, so 15 total Mutalisks, and along with Roach. But this is a very strong army from MiSsViTaL. So we're gonna have to see what happens as these mutas get ready to attack the natural or the main of the Protoss player. But no, changing their minds, coming on, gonna head back home. They spouted the army, and this army is going to do a lot of work here. Takes down a couple overlords and a lot of zerglings. The zealots leading the charge, very smartly having the zealots in the front, able to take a lot of damage that way. And there is a good number of zealots. We have about 10 zealots here.
If you can get,
he needs to drop those proxy pylon up close, and now the mutas are coming into play. These mutas are going to be very big. The mothership.
5 stalkers.
There is a mothership core here, so they can recall this army out. But this army needs to do something. It can't just stand in the middle here.
So, one thing is that sentries can do absolute work against Mutalisks, just because the Guardian Shield also reduces damage from...
And there we just have a very big warp in of 6 additional stalkers, so now it's getting very scary here. A couple roaches being morphed in, so really a very strong play right now by the Protoss player. It is kind of an all or nothing play, because the Protoss player still hasn't been able to take an expansion because of those burrowed lings, and we're gonna have to see what these mutas can do. It's all about the mutas. If the mutas can take down these stalkers and sentries, we need Guardian Shield to be popped to help out tank this damage, but it looks like there might be a little bit too many mutas here. Time Warp thrown down. I love seeing that. It doesn't work against air units, but it's great to see some of the lower league players use their abilities. And
these mutas just need to...
These mutas not focusing on the stalkers. They're focusing on the zealots. Will a couple more stalkers be warped in? We're not seeing any warp-ins right now. Oh, MiSsViTaL has got next to no money, unfortunately. Still just stuck on that one base. So when we look back, and now that the stalkers are done, the mutas are just going to be able to rain down the fire on whatever they want. And unfortunately, it looks like our Protoss player is not going to be able to... I just don't see the Protoss player coming back from this. There's just a couple too many Mutalisks, too much air superiority in that army for the stalkers of MiSsViTaL to deal with.
Yep, it's now 123 to 24 supply, up 30 supply.
Yeah, but the army difference, 77 army supply versus 10 army supply for our Protoss player, and 4 stalkers are not going to be able to defend against this many Mutalisks. We are up to 19 Mutalisks right now, and roaches to back them up. Not the kind of army.
Yep, and these are 1/1 mutas, so even more effective.
We do have
everything.
We do have one attack upgrade for the attack of our Protoss player. We do actually also have some long distance mining going on, and really these burrowed Zerglings is what won the game for our Zerg player. We just did not allow our Protoss player to take his second base, and
yep, that Zergling apparently doesn't block the base over there.
And our Protoss player desperately trying to take another base at the third, and that burrowed ling is just a little bit too far away to block it, but we'll see it's there. But with these 19 Mutalisks attacking, I just don't see anything, and
GG.
And
well,
GG.
No GG, but there's the game.
So we have a Zerg win, and Alloy Esports is going to take the first game in this best of 9 series. This is the Chobo Team League. My name's Corn Muscles. Casting with me is Spiderhawk. Stay tuned as we get ready for our next map.
Oh boy, more matches.
So, according to the chat, and I don't know how correct the chat is, apparently we had it reversed. So, Vital and MiSsViTaL are apparently fiancé. Congratulations, and we wish you the best and a happy